Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
everyone. Welcome. Today we will be talking about the second book in our Faithful and the Fallen read along, which is Valor. This will be a spoiler filled discussion, so if you haven't read the second book, then save this video for later because we will be spoiling all the events that occur in Malice and in Valor. But before we jump into the discussion, I will first let everybody who decided to join us introduce themselves.
Epic Tales back in the building. I'm coming from a long break. But Epic Tales, you already know. I'm a booktuber. I'm sure all of you already know that. I'm just happy that I made this discussion because I missed the last one because I hadn't read the last 10 chapters. But I'm excited that I finished this one, and I can't wait for this discussion to start.
Go ahead, John.
My name's John. I go by Walker Wright 7. That's my booktube channel. I'm an artist and a self-published writer, and I usually read a lot of YA or fantasy books like The Faithful and the Fallen. So go check my stuff out if you're interested.
I'm Steve, and my channel is Steve Talks About Books and Stuff. I'm just happy to be here with such awesome people to chat about Valor. So thanks to all of you for watching and all of you guys who made the discussion.
Yeah, I'm really glad that all of you could make it. So, just to start, what were your overall feelings of the book? Steve, you have some thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts, yeah. I didn't really enjoy it. I think that's putting it mildly. I can see the hey Andrew. I can see why. I can see why people like it. I mean, I think there's some cool ideas, and I like the fantasy aspects of it. It was just really boring. So, yeah, I don't want to get too negative, but it was okay.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Epic. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like I'm a good push off from Steve because I also all my notes are the things I want to talk about are the negatives, but I know I didn't completely not enjoy my time reading. So hopefully throughout the discussion, I'll kind of pick out what really worked about it. I'm closer to Steve's point of view where I didn't like a lot of things about it, and I don't like to compare things because if you don't know what I'm comparing it to, it doesn't help. But it almost felt like if you read the Stormlight Archives or Game of Thrones, they're both big, massive series like Faithful and the Fallen, and I feel like this book doesn't have the character, I'm not as invested as the characters like I am in the Stormlight Archives, which is why it's easy to follow such a big cast of characters as they all feel really unique and you can differentiate them. And then Game of Thrones, the world is so fleshed out with the northern people and the wall, and then the southern or the desert areas, South Rocky and everything like that, and then the kingdom of King's Landing. The world really helps you know what all the different kingdoms and who's fighting who, and I feel like that's not in Faithful and the Fallen. So I just didn't enjoy my time because I couldn't get invested in the characters, and I didn't know who was fighting who or what was going on most of the time.
See what Andrew said.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not just gonna bite off what the previous people said. I'm going to be a little bit more positive. So the book, I'm reading the book because I want to see how John Gwen develops as a writer. So from that perspective, I would say book 2 was better than what was better than book 1. However, right, I feel because of my perspective, because of where I'm coming from and how I'm looking at the book, there are some patterns that I didn't like in book 1 that I saw in book 2 as well. And there are a couple of things I think he did very well. But altogether, altogether, I would say it's a book that I'm trying to be very super objective. I admire his ambition in his very first series. He was very, very ambitious, and I feel it's he pulled it off. You can tell what is happening in the story, and it's not while I was like trying to remember which characters were which at different points in the book, like I was still able to like keep up with the whole story. So yeah, like yeah, I heard it gets really good in the next book though, but yeah.
Okay,
Doesn't it
so I'm
always?
probably the most positive one because I actually really liked it.
Yay!
Yeah, I thought it was better than Malice, and I really enjoyed Malice. But after the discussion that we had for Malice, I could definitely see some of the negatives a bit more. Yeah, it was more obvious that there were some negative aspects as well. But it just had some things in the book that I always like, animal companions and Corbin. He's so precious. And then in the second book, you have even more of that. So you have more of Corbin, and I really liked his storyline. So yeah, I liked it even more, but I can definitely see also some negative aspects also with the writing style. But yeah, like Epic said, it's his first big series, so you can excuse him for some of the mistakes that he made.
Yeah, and it was not just his first. He was like the book. He was very ambitious with it as well. He has so many. It's his first book. He has so many characters, like so many different cities, different kingdoms, like and yeah, like I feel like I am impressed with his ambition. But then, what particularly did you like about Corbin's story?
I always like the farmer boy who is something special in the end. And I know that that's like a super trope and that it's overdone, but I always like it. And here I just enjoyed the fact that he didn't believe in himself the entire time. And then towards the end, he started to realize, like, okay, everybody is actually telling the truth. So I just like him as an enjoyable character. And I think that Natar, for example, he is so confident and he believes that he is something special. And that's something that, yeah, I don't like, for example. So that's why I immediately felt connected to Corbin.
Yeah, I think I really like. I mean, like that was actually one of my main things that I liked about the book. It's probably why right now I'm around like a 3.5. We'll see if it stays there by the end. But I also really enjoyed Corbin. I liked what I was actually missing about this one. I liked about the first one that first got me interested in him is his family aspect. It's really rare that you have such a connection to siblings and parents and like fantasy books. So I really liked that Corbin's story had that. So although I was disappointed when the family got separated, it's obviously nice when they come back together in the end. So yeah, I definitely Malice got me interested in Corbin and kept my attention like through book 2.
Just going back to what we talked about a second ago, I could see the jump in John Gwynn's writing from Alice to Valor. So I did see that he progressed quite a bit from the 2 books. As far as Corbin goes, I like the character. It's just what I enjoyed Corbin. I thought he was. It reminded me of. It kind of took me back. It kind of had a little bit of nostalgia for me because it felt more like he doesn't really struggle with anything, and I guess he does, but I don't know. He just seemed a little too easy,
I love the fact you're bringing that up. So like I'm just gonna go on a small rant because there were just some things that bothered me like about it. Like if when I was in high school, right, that like farm boy story and everything, I would have eaten that stuff up like so hard. But I've read so many books that it's just like I've like I got tired of reading fantasy books because of it at some point. Like it's the same, and it just got, and then like Corbin like is just like he's just that specific archetype. Like I don't see any kind of like nuance. I don't see much nuance to that trope, and that bothered me a lot because and there were just some things like, for instance, like there are just some things about him that just like irritated me a bit. Like so remember when the Karishim they came and like he was there was this possessed guy and all the warriors, what they call them, the special warriors,
The Jahar?
the
Something?
Jahaz, yes, like they went and then like my dude was swatting them around like flies, and then Corbin goes and does some cool sequence and like cuts him, and I'm just like, these guys have been training their whole lives. Like Corbin has been training for like what 2-3 years, and he goes and he's like he actually like does so like just stuff. I'm just like, okay, chosen one superhero, thumbs up. But like, what the hell? The one character, right, in the story that I really liked was Markin. Like, I love Markin's story. I was pissed in the first book. No, no, for real. I was pissed in the first book when like Castiel died, because that was the one character that had nuance, and like there was like, but I also thought that Markin died, so I was like, yo, you just create these characters to kill them off. And then when I saw Markin survive in the second book, and like you see, like Markin had a real struggle. Like I was like, then when they sent him to the pits, I was like, wow, like this guy, like I kept looking. It was Markin's perspective, like because his story was more concrete, and like in the end, Andrew is my man. He knows what I'm talking about. But like Markin's struggle, like Markin's decision at the end when he let go of his because he could have just killed Olga there and like gotten his freedom. That was a real moment. But like with Corbin, man, my guy is just flying through life. People are bowing down to him. Like Rain sleeps longer than him, and they just open the door at the right moment. And my guy is like fighting the car. I'm just like, yo, why? Why are you doing this to me, man? But anyway, that was my media rant.
See, that's funny because I didn't like Macwin's story because I felt like it was so unnecessary. Like I feel like I almost like didn't even like want to like pay attention to it because like it sort of felt like it came out of nowhere. It's like he wasn't really that. I feel like he wasn't that far in the first book, and we're halfway through the second book, and then we have to take this completely other storyline away from like all the other stuff we're currently talking about, just to kind of like go on his whole quest and what he's going on. I was actually kind of like annoyed. I'm just like, I already have enough going on with this book, and then you bring in like this character that feels like completely unnecessary and random. It was actually one of my least favorite parts.
What Andrew says, right, is what made it very interesting for me. Like the whole of part, like this is usually it's like the mentor that dies, and the prodigy or like the apprentice that goes on and like goes on to do great things. But that twist there, right, I really liked it. Plus, in the first book, it seemed like it was going to be Castiel that would end up doing important stuff. Like he was the one that had the rivalry with his cousin, and like when he died, like I was like, yo, what the hell, And then this guy's because his relationship with and this is another thing, right? His relationship with oh shit, I shouldn't be talking like I should let everyone talk, but like his relationship with Castiel and Markin, that relationship in the book one was well developed, but the focus was on him. Like, and when like in part when he died, and then he twisted, and the focus shifted to Markin, and with like that was interesting for me. That was really interesting for me.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, and also what Andrew is saying, because I didn't really understand what Castiel was doing in the first book, because he was a warrior, Meredith was a warrior, and I thought it's a little bit too much of the same. So then when in the second book in the beginning we saw that Castiel was actually dead and that we have a revenge plot going on, I really liked that. The thing that I didn't really like is that a lot of the stuff that happens here is pretty predictable, and then especially for Macwin, because when he goes into the fighting pits, you immediately know that he's going to get out some way. He's going to be the one person who's going to survive. And then that whole plot point or that whole plot line, you just knew it was going to happen. So I basically skimmed through that part. Because it was a lot of fighting that was unnecessary. They just should have said, yeah.
Let me tell you what was annoyingly predictable for me. So there was a point in like Malice where like Corbin's dad was talking to him about, oh, I'm so proud of you. Like, look at what you've accomplished. And yeah, like I'm proud of you, son, and all that talk, that deep father-son talk. And in my head, I was like, oh shit, he's going to die, right? and then I just knew he was going to die. And in the second book, when the mom was telling him, look, everyone wants to follow you, you're so great, I'm like, oh shit, she's going to die too. No, no, but you know what I'm talking about. Like once I saw that converse, I was like, oh, it's like I just knew she was going to go, and yeah, like yeah, but I'll say one thing, right? I don't want to come off too negative because Malice is it's good enough for me to recommend to people to read. I would say that. However, like the book reminds me of why I enjoy reading fantasy. Like it's I was reading like when reading the book, I felt echoes of what the writer wanted to make me feel, but I wasn't feeling it. It was like, okay, like if I was in high school, like when fantasy was still like a new thing to me, and I was reading this, like I knew how excited I would have felt I wasn't if I hadn't read so many fantasy books that it had already become predictable, you know. But yeah, like 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 I feel it's a good book. It's a good like I feel like it's a good book to transition if you're switching from intermediary fantasy level to like big fantasy level, you know. But yeah,
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew, for dropping by, even though we aren't ready. But thanks for dropping by. The Macwin storyline, I'm with you that it was really predictable. I was not worried about him at all, and it was really, really long. I could have been a lot shorter. It was the same. It could have accomplished the same thing, and been a lot shorter. Because like you, Yelena, I just kind of skimmed through it because it was just I wasn't worried about him at all. So, and
Yeah,
like, this book and the Malice, it just seems like a lot of other things I've already seen or read, just
yeah,
put into a pot.
a combination of a lot of things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, like the one reason why like I knew that Markin was going to survive, but the one reason like I kind of appreciated his perspective because it was a complete shift in tone from everything else. That's one thing, and another thing is that there's something like I was reading this stuff that Neil Gaiman wrote about writing, is that like you at when you do some stuff, right, like when you make promises to your readers, right, like, and in that sense, right, what the promise with Markin's line is that he's going to get his revenge at the end of the day. So I knew that like he was going to survive and everything, but like it was just the shift in tone and the twist on the trope that really got me interested. That really got me like into that storyline.
You know, actually, speaking of point of views, I was wondering this because I was having a really hard time keeping track of all the different kingdoms and like being invested with some of the characters. Did you guys think that because there clearly seems to be bad guys and good guys? Because I mean, it just seemed to me like there was. Did you think it was necessary that we had the point of view of the like bad guys? Because I feel like that's what kind of helped like confuse things and muddle things. Is you keep like switching back and forth between like people on both sides of the fight, and it just like that didn't help me like keep things like together.
I don't think it is necessarily the shifting of perspectives. I think it's because his chapters are so short. So like you don't fully get like a grasp on what is going on with one person before like it shifts again. So I feel like, but I may be wrong in that because I've read like bigger books that like have a lot of characters as well, but because each chapter each chapter is rich, you know, like I didn't really have a problem like navigating the characters, but I would also say like there are some perspectives that like I don't know how the editor allowed it to have been there because they were just like so short, and then like they didn't even like happen. Like this girl's perspective, for instance, say this is how you know like I had some problems with the book. I don't remember their names. Corlin, right? Yeah, like if you are taking imagine taking her perspective being like out of the book, what would that have changed? Like I don't see like the book would have still flowed, like it would have still. So it was like why did you like just well yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, but on the other hand, I was quite happily surprised that there were a little bit more female characters because in the first one, I think we just had Simon's POV and that was it. And then here we also have, I don't know how you pronounce this, but Fidel, the mother of Notar, is a little bit more present.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
Fidel
Corlin is the other one.
Filet's on my notes because that shit was fucked up.
I
Sorry,
know, I
whatever
know,
language.
I know. The one thing Jung Wen did was he made me mad at Lycus. Like I hated, like I was like, nah, this guy has like, it has. I want him to go, and I want him to go
I
painful. You know.
loved when that dagger went in. I was just like, yes,
No,
get
no, no.
him.
The dagger was too quick, man. They should have just transitioned to a grim dark. You know, just give him like 5 minutes with Sandam Glockner, just 5 minutes, and then he can go. But yeah,
Yeah, Julian. I mean, Julian, I actually like that because I was thinking the same thing. When I was done, I was just like, I was trying to think of all the characters, and like so many of the male characters feel all the same. But like I really like the female characters so far. With I don't remember her name, but the old crone who teaches him magic.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah. Brenna was interesting.
yeah, and like Coraline with her, even though again, I do kind of agree that maybe her point of view wasn't necessary, but she still felt really distinct. I liked her. Like her first scene was a really great introduction of her like just like going ham on that guy who was like gonna I guess like sexually harass her mother or whatever like that. It just I thought she was interesting. Just all the females stood out. Cohen's like one of my favorites. So yeah, I actually agree. I liked a lot of the female perspectives in this one. I feel like they
Yeah.
stood out a lot more than the males.
Yeah, like I what I would have preferred was if like I feel like yes the female characters but like apart from Veritas, I keep forgetting their names. Veritas's mother, like I actually do like Coraline, you know, but I would have liked I would have liked her perspective to have mattered more. Like I would have liked like longer sections of her story, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't always see like Camlin. I like Camlin as well, but like I didn't always see like he could have been from somebody. It could have just been from simply from Corbin's perspective, talking about what Camlin is doing. But I guess there's also an element of like he wants to write like the redemption story and like all that stuff. So I guess so. But my problem, I really like the fact that there are strong female characters in the story, but then I just wish that like their perspectives mattered more to the plot. Like if you took Coraline's like perspective out, the plot would have remained unaffected.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like a token, like, oh, let me put a woman in it, you know, but
I think that's maybe also, I find that John Gwynne repeats a lot of stuff. And sometimes you have a part that it's in one POV and then he switches from a different POV and they start with the same information. And he doesn't really need to do that. You don't need to see the situation from each POV. Just give us one. And then, okay, you miss a couple of things from the other people, but it's not necessary that you know everything. So I think that if you just let go of some of the angles, it might have been a little bit better that way.
That like omnipresent thing is really not necessary. Just write it from the perspective that is most interesting. Amazing Worlds, I would recommend this series, but I would also like there are some people I would recommend it to and some people I wouldn't. Like if you're an avid fantasy, like I know you've read a lot of fantasy books, I wouldn't bother doing that. But if you're if you're into fantasy, you've read a couple of books and you're trying to level up from middle grade fantasy books to a higher grade fantasy books, then I feel like that's a good recommendation. Although you might already be tired of the tropes by then, but I'll still recommend it to someone trying to make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, I think we know you may not recommend it. Further thoughts?
Well, I think Epic worded it right. I think I would recommend it. Someone moving up from like a middle grade, or just someone who really enjoys traditional fantasy and who just kind of, I don't want to say an easy read, but it's not challenging. It's pretty predictable. It's like a comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
So if you enjoy unpredictable plot lines and great characters and
interesting world,
I would probably pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that it's actually a very easy to follow writing style. You never have to go back and reread a sentence, for example. So in that sense, and also Corbin is pretty young and he has that family dynamic. So I can definitely see somebody who enjoys YA but wants to have something a little bit more challenging with the multiple POVs, that this is a great step up.
Yeah, I'd
Good
agree with
point.
that as well. I agree with that as well.
I feel like I would have to finish the rest of the series to kind of give my full thoughts. I almost feel like, again, I think if you're used to higher or other kind of bigger stories, like if you've already gone through Game of Thrones and Stormlight Archives and series that kind of match this like setup of it being really large, the multiple cast of characters, I can't see you maybe going back to this and having a great time, because that's what I'm struggling with, is like I'm already like seeing how so many things like could have like already been better, where I'm just like, it really depends on where you're at in your reading experience, but you may enjoy this or not.
It's a good point.
I'm just impressed. So I don't think he has, like, at this point he hadn't yet developed prose style, like his prose. He hadn't yet found his voice as a writer. But then he was able to like it's pretty coherent. Like you don't have to read anything. You can just like read it once, and he uses very short sentences too. You know, they are never like they're not so compound. You know, so it's easy to just like follow through it. And like the one thing I would say is that the fact that he was able to do that over such a large book, like that in itself is impressive. Like I'm a writer, I'm telling you, like that, like keeping everything coherent, like you know, you can follow the story and it's that big. Either he has like a super great editor or like he's like super talented.
And Johnny mentioned Game of Thrones, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. But Corbin's sister is Cywin, right? That's how you pronounce her name.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be Cohen. That's how the audiobook does it.
Oh, okay. She gives me really strong Arya Stark vibes, and the whole family just seems like the Starks all over again.
Yes, I was thinking that. I was trying to explain this to my partner. I was just like, I feel like it's like all the different nations and are like, you know, the North and King's Landing and stuff like that. But it's like I don't know who's with who or who's fighting who. And then the main cast of characters feels like Jon Snow or Daenerys, which is like Corbin, and then like Arya Stark, which is like Cohen. And yeah, I completely agree, Steve. Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
I thought about the same thing, but then I was like, I don't wanna like bash like his second book, man. But but I am excited. Like what I am excited about, like what I enjoy the most, I feel like reading someone like him, especially for me, I'm writing my book, is I like to see his progression. You know, like Malice was pretty okay, and then like I Valor is better, and I've heard Ruin is even better. So like like I'm looking forward to reading that.
Did anyone feel emotional in this book? Because I know that a lot of people said that Ruin is supposed to be like really emotional, and I was seeing a lot of reviews saying that so many people in the reviews on Goodreads were saying how they cried in Valor, and by the end I was just like, I mean, the very ending when the mother died and when Corbin was talking about how they started singing not just for their mother, but all the people they've lost, I was like, oh, okay, I felt something then. Besides that, like, I didn't get emotional at all, like, throughout the whole book.
You know something, like, if some of the people in their what they call it, their party, like, if you are just not giving them a name, just wrote, like, villagers from Arden, like, it wouldn't have made a difference for me. Like, why did you give them names? Like, and then, but anyway.
Villager 1, Villager 2.
Villager 1, Villager 2, like, it will make a difference, you know, like, but, like, this is what I'm saying, like, I kind of understood what his intent, how the writer wanted to make me feel. And maybe if I was, like, in high school, I hadn't read so many books, maybe it would have evoked those emotions. But, I didn't feel anything.
I mean, I cried a couple of times. So
wow.
Tell me. I want to know.
Tell us. Yeah.
What was
but
it?
I cry with practically every book that I read.
No,
so.
I do too. That's why I want to know, because I'm usually really emotional. So that's why I was like, what
I
about
cried
me?
when Heb died, because he was an old man and he died, and then Brina was dead. So I was crying, and then basically with each death, I think Corbin's mom, I also was crying because she just found back her daughter and then died. Why?
I, I,
Give them a
I,
little bit more time.
I feel like I would have felt Corbin's mother's death if, like, she wasn't like having the speech about him, how proud of him she is. Like, if I hadn't like predicted it, like my heart was already ready for the moment. So when it happened, I was like, ah.
See, I wasn't really ready for it because I don't even really remember that conversation standing out that much. And I remember she almost died earlier. There was a moment where I thought she might
Yeah,
have died.
yeah.
And
When they
again,
were fighting.
I feel like she, like, unlike the first one, like, they didn't really converse too much. This is part of the family thing that I was missing, is they didn't really converse too much throughout the book. But yeah, like I said, at the end when she finally died, just like Yulene said, it's like I was thinking about like the journey. Like she, even though she wasn't like right there in your face the whole time, she was still there for Corbin, and she thought that Cohen was like dead the whole time. And when she found out she was like not dead, yeah. So like I think it still worked for me because I didn't really like see it coming, but like I'm not surprised that like people died at the end.
Yeah. But I can see that all of you think that it's a simpler version of something bigger, and I do agree with that, but I don't think that it's necessarily a negative. Because sometimes I just want to read something that's easy and it's just enjoyable and I'm along for the ride, and I know that I don't need to be too scared of anything bad happening to the characters. It's just a comfort read. And I like that from time to time.
Yeah, I know. Like I can see that. I can see that. I can, like, there, if I will be fine with that, right? I'll be fine with the book being simple to read if it wasn't predictable. Like, it doesn't, like, if it doesn't have to be predictable to be simple. You know what I mean? Like, there are books like palette cleanser books, and I know if you watch my videos, I talk about this book too much. The Traveler's Gate, right? Or they twist on every single fantasy trope. It is not difficult. I finished that book in a day. Like, I finished it in a day and a half, but it's just fun to read. It's just like, and like, it's not that big, you know. And that is where I give John Gwen props. Is that, like, he attempted to do something very ambitious and he pulled it off, except for all the problems. But as far as, like, it's a whole book, you know. So I give him respect for that.
To Amazing World's question, again, I don't really mind that it's like simpler or even like predictable. I honestly just didn't like having to do my homework to understand everything that's going on. It's like, even though it should be kind of a simple read, for you to, I feel like, to completely like invest in like every character and every nation, there was not enough like difference between like the world seems like non-existent. It's literally just like a giant forest across like every nation, and that kind of felt like it. And each character was kind of doing something. It's just like, I just feel like, and again, I think this might have been helped if they like took away the point of view of like the bad characters, because it was just really hard for me to follow. Like, I was literally like in my book like highlighting the names that showed up the most, and like I was like had a notepad out like marking down like this nation plus this nation equals like a union. It's just like, it's a simple book, but like it wasn't easy to digest everything. I mean, by the end, I thought I was just like, I don't know what half the things, like, I know what happened, but I don't know who was doing those things. Like, by the end, I was just like, okay, I'll have to do more research and read the glossary at the beginning of Ruin whenever I get to it.
So, like, if possible, right? Like, I wouldn't say there's anything majorly wrong with the series. Majorly wrong. Like, we're talking majorly wrong. Like, I'm thinking of a different set of problems. Could you be more specific? Like, what like what would count as majorly wrong for you? Because I feel like that in itself is very subjective. I know people that would not read a book because the prose is not good enough, or read a book because the characters aren't fleshed out enough. So, like, what specifically is majorly wrong?
And I think you've mentioned before about John Gwynn being really ambitious. I think he may have been overly ambitious, and if he would have just, like John mentioned, if he would have just narrowed his focus a little bit and shortened the books, it would have been a lot. It would have been an easy read, but it would have been a lot less to keep up with, and I think that may have helped if he just kind of
Completely agree.
Like I feel like instead of having so many characters, he could have focused on it on less and like developed them properly.
Mhm.
You know, like I would have that is something that is one thing I would say, because there are so many characters, some relevant, some irrelevant. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, so like I'm reading a chapter of like somebody new introduced, and I'm like, wow, am I wasting my time? Like, should I just skip this? But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything majorly wrong with it. I just think it's not for everyone.
It's not
I
for
think-
everyone. Yeah.
I can see the quality. I can see why some people enjoy it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just think it's for certain, uh, who fans of this certain type of writing style and story. But I don't think there's anything
No.
wrong with it.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
enjoy people talking about it positively. Like I like hearing about it 'cause I'm just like I don't disagree. I'm like, oh, I'm really glad you actually got that. I wish I like
Yeah.
perceived it or digested it that way.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because Amazing Worlds, he specifies, he says, an inconsistent plot, bad characters, or stupid decisions. And I don't really think that that's present here. If anything, most of the people make smart decisions. And that's something that I normally hate in a book. When you have that main character and he has all of those mentors and then he goes against it because he knows best. And here, I think that Corbin is pretty smart and he listens to people who know more than him. So I actually like that. I also don't think that there are any bad characters. Maybe characters like some of you already said that are not well developed, should have been a little bit more fleshed out. And I think that that's also why sometimes it's confusing because the characters aren't really very distinct, or some of them have a chapter that's only 2 pages, so
Yeah.
you don't really get to know them. And then when that chapter comes again, or that POV, you have to think, okay, who was this again? Because you didn't really see a lot of him. But to say
Yeah.
that the
Go to
characters
the
are bad,
glossary.
Yeah, I don't think the characters are bad. I don't think the characters are bad. I think feel like they could have been developed more, and they could have been more. They could have been more distinct.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it is a trope fest.
Yes. Yes. So many tropes.
It
So
is
many
trope
tropes.
after trope after trope,
Yes.
and sometimes that's okay. I think that's okay if you don't mind it, and it's like we've mentioned, it's like a comfort thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
It's just,
I would say-
not people like it, but
I'll say this: when I first started reading it, like the feelings of nostalgia, I was like, maybe this would be good for me. But like, yo, man, like midway through Valor, I was like, yo, I miss my grimdark, man. I miss my grimdark. I miss like unpredictability. I miss. I just like when I'm reading a book now, like it's I'm always looking to see something different. You know, like I see something different. I see something that like, or something that just like kind of breaks the rules, and and like if you can break the rule but still pull off good writing, pull off a good story, then I love it. Very tropey but well done. Yes, sure, I can go with that. Yeah. Although it could be better done, but I'll go with that. Well done.
So I have a question for everyone. Is
Yeah.
I know they kind of play with Corbin being the one or the chosen one, and Nathir being the bad guy. It almost seems like he writes it in a way that we're supposed to wonder who's on which side. And I think midway through Valor, I think it's pretty much said. They mention in the book who's the good and who's evil. But was it ever in doubt for anyone? Even in Malice, you knew right away.
It wasn't in doubt. It wasn't in doubt. It wasn't in doubt. Like when he started saying like that trope of for the greater good, like everything, we do everything for the greater good. That's like the classic villain excuse that like self-righteous villain that is the classic excuse. So
I must say, I hoped that it would be some kind of twist at the end of Malice, because you are supposed to think that Corbin is the good guy, right? And that Nater is being played basically by everybody else. But I thought, well, maybe Corbin is being played by everyone. It could be. But yeah, now it's completely clear that that's not what he was going for. But I would have liked that twist.
Yeah,
Grimdark
all through
talking.
Valor.
Yeah, that twist I would have loved the book if that twist was there, 100%. But like that, like once Corbin was like a blacksmith's son, like in a village, I was like, he's the good guy. Like I had no doubt. uh,
Steve, what were you gonna say?
No, I wondered because it was kind of written in. I wasn't sure if if John Glenn expected it to be in doubt, but it was never really in doubt. But
no.
I would have loved it if there was a twist like that.
Yes,
If
the twist.
if they were playing Corbin and they made him think that he was, but he wasn't, that would have been awesome. But
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Well, see,
That would
that
have
was
been awesome.
that was my problem with the whole split point of view thing. Is like we know who the bad guy is and who that person thinks he's the good guy. But if we're never in doubt of what's going on, like why do we even have that point of view? Like it didn't really seem to like add anything, like just because he thought he was like the good guy. We like easily could have gotten like Corbin going to a kingdom and then being like, oh yeah, and Nathair came through here and racked the city. He seems to think he's like the good guy or whatever. It's just like if we're not gonna like ever be in doubt, like oh maybe Nathair really is the good guy, then like why do we have these like opposing point of views?
So Amazing World says the point of that is the prince's bodyguard. Will he stick with Nafair in spite of what he sees?
It's kind of that's a lot just
That's
for that
very
one
funny.
perspective.
That's an interesting question. Huh. I
think-
guess, but like I still don't like. I guess, but like that's not a point. That's not enough. That's not enough for me. That's what I'll say. Like I feel like and just the way the book is playing out. If I was going to predict like the next couple of books, like Veridis would. Oh, you've read the series. Nice, I love it. Like Veridis, I feel like Veridis would eventually like figure stuff out, and then like maybe John Gwen is going to play with the do I betray my blood sworn brother or do I like do what's right kind of thing, because I already see there's something between like some romantic stuff happening between him and Corbin's sister. So I feel like there's and like Veridis as well, the fact that like he helped Markin like escape and he's already like feeling guilty and like he's starting to question things, and then you add on top the fact that he's there's a kind of romance developing between him and Kaiwen. I feel like eventually like he's gonna snap out of it, but
yeah.
yeah,
sorry, I'm sorry.
No, like go ahead.
That whole romance thing is really weird.
I think so too.
She's really young.
I think so too. I think so too. And like like what was it I was gonna say? Okay, and something else is that like I do not feel I like so if especially in my fantasy novels, right? Like when like the antagonist is brought up, I want to feel like okay, yes, this is a dangerous man. This is like but when from Nafair, I don't get that vibe at all. This is like I don't take Nafair seriously at all. Like, and I like that takes away, and then that takes away part of the takes something away from the story. Like if when I have a villain, I want to be like scared for the main character. But with the way Korban is already fighting the Karishim, like even if those guys, the Jiha have been, the Karishim beats the Jiha like they're nothing, and Korban goes and like actually like has like a small like exchange with him. I know that if Korban and Nafair like were in a one-on-one fight, Nafair wouldn't stand a chance. He would not it's not yeah, and that just makes me feel like okay. So I'm going to have this guy Korban saying, "Oh, I'm going to kill you." The effect, okay, wow, okay. I'll wait then. I'm waiting. I'm going to read Ruin and Wrath, and I'm waiting.
Maybe there'll be a payoff.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping for like a crazy twist. I'm hoping for something that is just like, But so far, I haven't gotten it.
Because what I'm curious about is Nater always thought that he was a good guy, but then this ending, you can clearly see that he's super confused, and I think that now he starts realizing that he's being played. But I want to see what he then does in the next book, because maybe he's not the big bad guy. Maybe
I
now
like.
he knows, but he's completely under control by Calidus and basically Azeroth. So I want to see what happens next. Is he
No,
going to turn completely evil, or is he going to try to fight it but unable to?
no,
I like
and
it
yeah,
that you said that because I imagine him just like after like all the demons start coming. I imagine him just being like, "What? Like what's these? I'm the bad guy." I like the way you phrased that, but I completely agree. It's, I wonder if he is gonna be like the Dark Star, or if he was just being used as a puppet, and like someone else is like actually the Dark Star.
well, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I also want to see what he would do when he finds out that his mother was raped and controlled, because like Kalidos, like the role Kalidos played in like the mind control they were doing for his mom and stuff, and like the rape and all of that. Like I want to see how he reacts to that if he finds out, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he's being used. I don't think he's the big bad.
But like at this point, like what like does he like what is he going to do now? Like if you're going to predict like the next book, say okay, yes, he say okay, he notices demons are possessing people, and he finds out what happens to his mom, like then what? Like what direction do you see his character moving in?
Yulian, what do you think?
It's difficult, huh? I think he'll try to fight it. I still have faith in Atar that he will try to do something against it and that Ferradis will try to help him. But I'm not sure because you have Lycos, but then also Calidus who can make like the clay thing and then completely control somebody. And I think that that's also what's being done with the giant man. I don't know what his name is.
It
So many
was
names.
damn it, I remember Ilios. No,
Yeah, I think so, right?
Ilios. Yeah, I think so.
Elyos, isn't that his name?
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think so.
The one
Yeah.
that's needs to protect Cohen.
Yeah, I think it's Ilios. Yeah.
Because he mentioned something like if he has your hair, he can do a lot of bad things, and he
Yeah.
already has mine. So
Yeah.
maybe something like that is going to happen to Nater.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they can't switch now, and that's one of the things that I don't understand. So you have the evil one, and you have a lot of powerful people who sworn allegiance to him. You have Rin. Why would you betray somebody and make him think that he's Bright Star? Why not just take somebody who is on the side of Azeroth? It seems like it's more difficult than it needs to be.
Maybe because the power he had before, the position he was in before, he had the ability to do the things that had to be done. I guess maybe.
Yeah, he needed to be a kinslayer and stuff like that. Maybe that's why.
and yeah, well, I feel like his character is already like I don't know. Well, let's see if that happens. Then I would like to see what his redemption story will be like. I'd like to see what his redemption story will be like, because I feel like he's already gone so far. He has already done so many things. He helped them kill Brennan, and then he killed the other king, and then he's shown Rin his support. And yeah, like he's already opened the thing. Like the giants hate him already. Like would they even? Well, I don't know if they are setting things up for Corbin to end up like ruling the kingdom, but like at this point, like I feel like he's too far in, like something that I can probably see the story, the direction. I think he's going to die, and he's going to like maybe sacrifice his life, but I don't know, maybe I'm projecting too much, but like kind of like I feel like maybe at the end of it, like John Gwen is gonna try to make us feel pity for him. What would I do? What would I do? That's a good question. I feel like I wouldn't be deceived in the first place. Love, I'm joking. But like, what would I do? What would I do? Nah, like the stuff with the mom, like yo, man, I don't like the stuff with the mom. It wouldn't matter at that point if I'm on the right side or the this. I'm going to like mess things up for everyone. Like I don't even like. I'm just gonna try and do maximum damage to the people that like did that stuff to my mom. Like anything associated with it as well. So yeah. That's what I'll do.
I don't really know where we're gonna go from here because, like, I feel like there was, like, I'm not really sure. There wasn't really a lot that kind of like a lot of stuff that we predicted. Like at the end of Malice, I had a lot more ideas of where we were gonna go, like with the magic hidden objects or whatever. And then in book two, like it was a little brought up because they had to use I almost said the kettle, whatever
the cauldron.
Yeah, they had to use the cauldron with one of the other objects, which is the axe, to kind of open up these portals. So I don't know if maybe that's where book three is going, is that they're going to be finding the other artifacts to open maybe portals for like the angels instead of the demons this time. So maybe they might use, maybe that there is wanting to turn good, but maybe because the whole like doll thing, which I already have a problem with, like when that first thing was introduced and they can make him do anything, even say anything, I was like, okay. But anyway, so maybe they like maybe Nether has to be used to open up these portals. So maybe they're gonna like take control of Nether, and maybe they're both gonna like go after these objects to try to open more portals for more demons. And then Corbin and his people are maybe going to try to find the objects to open up good portals for the angels. That's the only thing I really think of. I don't really know how like the other battles, like what Rin is doing. I don't know how that factors into like the overall plot and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure where we're going after that.
Let me say one thing, right? Like like that I think one of the reasons I want to read Ruin at this point. I'm too far into just like DNF it at this point. So I'm going to read the last two books, and I want to see what happens from here, because like everything has, I feel like everything is so tight now. You know, everything is so. Yeah, I want to see what Rin. I want to see what how the direction that Veridis goes. I want to see. Although I think he's gonna anyway. I think he's gonna become a good guy somehow. And I want to see what happens with Nafair. And I really want to see the satisfaction of when Markin gets his hands on Jarrell. Was that his name? You know, like there are some things I want to see paid off, but I just really hope that in the next book, like so there are some improvements, and there are some things that I want to see a lot of improvement in book 3. You know, I'm excited to see what he did, because it was on the Nerdy Narrative, like Leslie spoke about book 3, and she was like she said some good stuff about it. So yeah, I want to see what happens there in book 3.
Yeah, apparently what I just said wasn't really much of a mystery, because I just read the synopsis of book 3, and that's kind of what they're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, well.
You see, this is what I'm talking about.
So I mean, I'm kind of glad. Like I think last time we talked about it, you guys didn't say you normally read the synopsis for books like these, where I'm sort of like struggling to keep up. I actually really like it. I like knowing what I'm getting myself into. That's why I was able to follow 2 a lot better, because I knew that Corbin was supposed to be on his journey. So it sounds like book 3 is just going to be, I guess Nether and Rin have taken over a good part of the country, or the continent, or whatever. And I guess Corbin and his people, like Queen Adana, are sort of, I guess, setting up like a rebellion kind of thing. So yeah, it seems like it's just going to be like a rebellion, like going against Nether. I guess Nether's choices are going to be really important now that he knows that like he was betrayed. So. I mean, that sounds interesting. Hopefully it's less confusing now that like, it all seems to be under like one person's control. Now that the demon stuff is sort of being introduced, it may get like a little more interesting. So, I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think, Yulene?
Well, I'm also a little bit excited to see what happens with the queen. So Idana is her name,
Idana,
I guess.
Yeah.
Idana. Because in the beginning we have Pendatron that gets rescued by Cohen, because he's being kept by Avnis in his dungeon.
Oh yeah, him, that guy.
So he escapes
Pendatron.
in the beginning of the book. So that needs to lead to something. So I think that Idana is going to go towards him. And so then you have 2 forces. You have Corbin and then her that will hopefully fight for the good side.
And
I also
some giants as well.
Yes, true. Yeah. So that's interesting, and I want to see more of that. And I also hope that we see a little bit more of the dream world, because I don't know if any of you have read Wheel of Time. I think Epic, you've read it, but a while
Yeah,
ago.
a long time ago.
And
But
there
I
you
should be able to
also,
remember.
so the dream world, I won't go into details because it's a little bit spoilery, but there you also have that same setting where you have the dream world and the dark one can come in, but it's a little bit too convoluted for me in that one. So here it's a little bit simpler, and I actually like that. I can follow what's happening. So I want to see more of that. But of course, once the gates are open and all those dark spirits can come into the world, I guess that we won't see a lot of that anymore. But those are one of my favorite parts in this one.
You know
Steve.
something? One clear positive I would say is that and like it's gonna positive starts positive, but it's gonna be negative. I feel like not negative, but objective. So I feel like John Gwen is good at writing fight scenes, right? Or like even if he could get better, but like it's good. But I feel like he did it so much. Like he did it so much. I was just like still fighting, still fighting, still fighting. Skip, skip, skip. Okay, now okay, that's the last blow. Let's go on with the story because so like okay, so the first law, for instance, like I feel like the first law is not a perfect book. I really like it, but it's not perfect. And like Joe Abercrombie like focused really hammered on creating super unique characters. And so like the other flaws is like whatever, like the characters are dope. But with this one, I feel like he might have tried, I don't want to I don't want to speak about his intentions, but he might have tried to like cover things up with so many fight scenes, but like too much of it was just like at any at like you just set up a little bit and then fight, you know. The guy's Viking battle real life. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. So there were just so many fight scenes, and I feel like he could have just used those scenes instead of like putting so many fight. He could have just used taken out some of those fight scenes and focused on like character development.
The
Like
world.
the world itself. Like giving us other aspects because a book that big with so many words, like I feel like there should be it should be more. There should be more to it. There should be more than just um like a troop fest and like some stuff that is just like come on. I was not happy when I was really not happy when Corbin was fighting the Karashim. So I did not like that at all. I did not like that at all, especially with the way he described the Karashim guy just like swatting those guys like flies, and like this guy just comes and it's just like I'm just like, damn it, man, what is this? That
See,
really pissed me off.
what I'll say about the fighting is my whole thing about fighting is like I want battles or fights to add something else. I don't think a fight should ever just be a fight.
Yeah,
And
just
granted,
for yeah, no,
and
just for entertainment. I'm backing what you're saying up. Yeah,
yeah, but well, the thing is, I don't know if okay. There's probably a lot of fight scenes. I don't remember all of them, but I feel like there was a lot that did actually like take care of that. Like I remember there was one specifically where they all first decided there. I think the guy with the one with no hand, he was supposed to stay behind, and then everyone decided to stay with him and fight. And I feel like that was a really good setup to a fight to show that the group is still staying together. There's a fight later where like Corbin kind of shows that he's more competent with like magic, and then like people, um, the other I think the other giant is mad that Corbin and his people know his giant magic. So there was definitely I think there was a good amount of times like I said, in the fight with like when the kingdom was being taken over by Rin, and then that's when we like branch off to like Mackin's story. That fight had to happen to show like the death of those people and them separating, and to show like him create his oath that he had to break and stuff like that. So there was a lot of all the fights that I can think of and remember actually did set up either a character building moment or a plot building moment. So I don't think I actually disliked the battles that much. But maybe I'm kind of just like getting rid of all the useless battles. I'm just like not thinking of them at the moment.
yeah. No, I feel like it was. I feel like it was too much. It felt after a while. I felt it was saturated for me. Like, give me a good story. Like, it's like So I like the Fast and Furious movies, but like it's like those stunts, like if you're looking from a story perspective, like they are so unnecessary. So, but like there's with the Fast and Furious, there's a visual element to it. You're seeing it, But like when you're reading a book that is this big, right, and you're trying to figure out which character is which, and like you're tired of all the tropes, and like and they are fighting again, and you're like, I don't even understand. I don't really have a like,
You're not
yeah.
invested.
I'm
You're
not.
not
Yes,
invested in the
yes,
character.
yeah. I'm not. But but when I do like read the fight, I'm like, okay, he's describing it well enough that I can see it in my head. It's just that like if these characters were more like fleshed out, then this fight would have meant more. So I feel like if maybe like drop the book by like take away like 3 4 fights and like just infuse more character development, then yes, then. But yeah,
I
but
think
he's
he
good
should.
at writing fights.
I think he should just like work on integrating character development within the fight. I mean, if he wants to like add so many fights, because there's a lot of battles, so I feel like each one of them needs to happen. Like the sacking of this place, and I also like the one where they do the night raids. I thought the night raids was really interesting. Where they're battling during the day, and then like the Wolven people go out at night.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was like really interesting. It had a little
No,
bit of character development. It showed Corbin like still being disgusted with like war and like how and what people are doing. There's a little bit in there, but I think in general that whole night raid scene was just the cool factor of people running around with like wolf claws.
yeah. Like that was, I think that was the first time in the book that Corbin was actively being proactive about doing so. Like, yeah, that was a nice one. That was the first. He was being proactive. He was like, you know what, like, and it was his idea as well. So yeah.
Mhm. So for the ending, because Epic, I think that you don't really like it by just
No, no, no,
how
no, 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 no,
or
no, no, no. I like it. I won't go as far as to say I don't like it. I won't go as far as to say I don't like it, but I'll go as far as to say like like I felt exhausted at the end. Like I just wanted to sleep. I just wanted to have a like just like. But I would say I don't like it. Like I would. So I read it within a very short amount of time because this month I have a lot of books to read. So I just like grinded it down. So I feel like maybe that might have played a factor in how like I wasn't taking breaks in between. I just like went through it. So maybe that's playing a factor, but I wouldn't go as far as to say I don't like it.
okay. And Steve, you didn't like the book in total, not that much at least, but did you like the ending or
Watch his review.
I think similar to what Epic said. I think by the end it's just like, okay, let's get on with it. Like, what's going to happen here? Let's just. But I did like the ending, even though a lot of it was predictable. I thought the death of the mother you can see coming a mile away. But I did like the direction it goes. I thought it gave me some wind in my sails to keep going because I think things are going to change in the third and fourth book. We're going to see a lot of different. I think the characters are going to. I think we're going to see some characters switch sides, and things are going to start to. They're going to get together and try and battle the big bad. Now, I don't think that there was the big bad. I think he was being used.
Yeah, I think John Gwen has set up a lot. He has set up a lot, and I feel like the whole like the Faithful and the Fallen series as a whole like will be made by the last two books because like there was an improvement from Malice to Valor, and I want an improvement in Ruin and Wrath.
Let me ask all of you a question. In the first book, when Nathir takes and Veritas take their shield, they go to prove their shield strategy, and they go and fight that battle. It seems like it took them no time at all to get where they were going. And in this book, there's a lot of traveling. They're constantly going, and they were talking about how sore they are from traveling and how long they've been going. It just seemed kind of it seemed off.
Inconsistent. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I did like that they ran into different, there was different dangers and they ran into different things. But after a while, it's like, okay, let's get to where you're going and let's get on with it. Because It was like, okay, we get your sore from riding too long. We get it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
We're 400 pages in and you're still traveling. That's where you're going.
I know, right? It's like, and a lot of those times. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So there's a lot of moving around that kind of like, I just kind of just like kept out of my head. I was like, okay, I get it. Moving on here. Definitely agree.
Yeah. Like when I know I'm going to discuss a book, or when I know I'm doing a book review, like, because there are sometimes in books I can just like skip. I can just like speed read. Okay, like if I'm reading a book and it's too much exposition, I'll just like go through like maybe like one chunk of it and then continue, like just like try and get to where stuff is happening. But if I know I'm going to review a book, then I try and read it because I want to know what I'm talking about. And like I did that it was hard to do this with this book because it's just like move the story along, keep moving. And when I say keep moving, I don't mean keep walking. Like I don't need to know every step you take towards your destination, but I just feel like he could have made a lot of things more meaningful. But I'm really, really hopeful for like Ruin and Wrath.
What did you think, Yuli? Did you enjoy the ending?
I did, yeah, of course. But I also like, so the ending also reminded me of Wheel of Time, where you also have the chosen one and then you have the big finale. And I just like that. And I know that it's wish fulfillment and that you want that to happen and then it happens, but I don't mind. I would be angry if something was wrong with this ending because the entire series is built up like this. So it would feel weird if then something bad happens at the end.
Something where yeah. Like what? Yeah, I guess. Like it goes back to like feeling nostalgic reading it. Like feeling like this is a classic. And I hear like I don't know. I hear like when they're going around, I'm literally hearing like a lute. Someone is playing on the lute, like a bard is playing a lute somewhere in my head when I'm reading the story. So that feeling of, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit almost of fan fiction, where you're reading what you want to happen. And
Yes.
you need to know that when you get into this book. If you want to be surprised and be heartbroken a couple of times, you're probably not going to have that here. But if you know that this is what it's going to be, then I do think that it's done well in that department. But I don't know if John Gwynne wanted us to have a lot of plot twist feelings because I didn't have those. So if that's what he was going for, okay, it didn't really work. But I don't think that that's what he was going for the first two books at least. I don't know what's going to happen in the third and the fourth one.
It's an excellent point. I think that's spot on. I think some of it had to do with my expectations going into it. If I would have heard that before, I would have had a different set of expectations for it. Because, I think that's a really great point.
That's a really good point. Like he might, like what we are reading might be exactly what he wanted to deliver. So like if that is it, then I clap for him then. Yeah.
So was there anything else that you wanted to discuss? Some scenes that you thought were very good, or do you think that we've discussed everything at this point?
Well, I didn't go over my ending.
Oh, yes.
Actually, Yulene, I did like the ending. I feel like you guys didn't have the same problem with the book I had. I had more problem with the middle part of the book, where I feel like there was too many characters and nations, and they weren't easily like identifiable. But like towards the end, I really liked how it was wrapping it up. I liked how they finally brought in like the demon aspect. I liked how like Cohen kind of came back with Korban, and Coraline had like her. Like there's a lot of like people that were like facing each other, and a lot of like comeuppances that needed to be dealt with. So I actually really liked the ending as well, Yulene. I didn't have a problem with it. It definitely set up enough that I'm interested and ready to go into like book 3. So I actually quite enjoyed it.
I think
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, I enjoy the ending too. I just think it could have taken place like 200 pages earlier. But with a character that I started to enjoy in Malice is Camlin.
Yeah, Camlin.
But in this one, he went from being this anti, I'm on my own, screw everybody.
He's the bandit one, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Now he's like has a heart of gold all of a sudden, and it seemed like a weird. It to me it was a missed opportunity for having at least one character who wrote
different.
that gray area, who you didn't know where his loyalties lie and what he could do and unpredictability. So I think that was a little bit of a wasted opportunity for that character, because
Yeah.
it was kind of, there's some eye rolling moments with Camlin in this one, because it's just, okay, we get it, you're a good guy now, let's get on with it. Instead of being, instead of you wondering, okay, what is he really going to do, or what, because he went from being one thing to being something totally different, and it didn't seem earned.
Yeah, yeah, and I can totally see that. I like characters like that. I like characters that are complex. I like characters that are complex. Um, there's like the plot. The plot is very well uh, I don't know how to describe like this. I have nuanced feelings about it. Like it's very step by step by step by step.
Mhm.
Um, but then so there's this book. It's called like A Hero with a Thousand Faces. If you ever read that book, yeah, if you read a lot of books, you kind of get a sense of it, like how plots work. So basically, the premise of the book is that like, okay, all these cultures from different parts of the world basically told the same story in a different way, even if they never interacted. So the idea is that it's a subconscious story that human beings like to hear, so like when but the thing about it, when you become aware of that, like I'm always looking out for the twist. But like I get what you said when you said like he might not have been writing it to, like, that was actually big for me when you said that he might not have been writing, that might not have been what he was going for, but yeah, I feel like the end of this book is there's enough stuff. There's enough. He has set up so many things, and I want to see how he pulls it off. I really do. Yeah.
I think the only thing that I wanted to bring up, it's really small, but I always think it's whenever they have the magic system, the whole like you just have to believe and it will be there, and they always struggle with it. I always kind of find like that it's not a really compelling like magic system, because I guess just because for me personally, if like someone just like came up to me and was just like poof fire, and I was just like wow that's so cool, and they're like yeah just say this magic word and just know the fire is gonna happen. I feel like that wouldn't be that hard. I feel like it'd be really easy to kind of just do that. And so whenever they're just like, "Oh, I'm struggling with this," I'm just like, "Okay." I mean, I would believe in fire if I saw somebody else do it, but
Yeah.
go
Uh,
off.
let me let me tell you guys a story. As in high school, I was such a nerd, and I was so weird.
No way.
Like I'll put my pen on like my desk, and I'll be like trying to move it with my mind. Like I'll be
Hasn't
staring
everybody
up, I'll
done
be
that?
like move. So like yeah, I feel like I would have picked up the magic system here fast if I was Corman.
Yeah, every
Like
reader would just be like, "That's a really easy magic system." It's like, yeah, give us a magic word, and we'll get that magic done just like that.
yeah, but yeah. Do you guys prefer like hard magic systems or soft magic systems?
I think I prefer soft because, well, hard magic systems, if they are done correctly and well, but sometimes if there's too much explanation, it starts feeling like sci-fi almost. I
Yeah.
need to have some magic in it.
Some mystery, some
Yeah,
fantasy to it,
there
yeah.
needs to be something that you don't know. But of course, with a really soft magic system, anything can happen. So that's yeah. When you just know that the hero is going to be saved because all of a sudden he's going to know something, like the Deus Ex Machina. I don't like that, and that's of course a danger if you have a too soft magic system. Like with this one, what John said, I can't believe that there are so few people who know this magic. If you just need to know a word and believe that it will happen, I would think that more people can use it. So that it's so rare, yeah, it's not really logical.
Yeah, I feel like in defense of the Faithful and Fallen, though, I feel like what made it rare was the fact that it's almost like a dead language because it's like giants. So I guess it's sort of like if well, now it's not a really good excuse because a lot of people can find Latin stuff, but it was almost like before the internet was around. If like our magic system was you had to speak Latin and then just believe it would happen. Like how many of us, like how many people really knew what Latin was or had access to like the Latin language and stuff like that? So I give it some respect there, where it's like it was in a random book that's like really hard to find, so it kind of makes sense. But then to go over in general, like if I like hard or soft magic, I feel like it just depends on the story. Like if your story is kind of based around the magic, then it probably needs to be more of like a hard magic system to where like Yolene said, it's like there's maybe some stuff you don't understand about it, and there's kind of some mystery to it. But if it's just kind of like a magical world with magic, then you can just do a soft system and it's like just don't focus on it. It's cool if it's just like one of their abilities. Kind of depends on the story you want to create.
I like kind of like a combination of the both. So if I understand something fundamental about how it works, then like I don't as far as you're not like making someone move a mountain with their mind or like like punch a hole and not explain like except you're going to do something outrageous like that, then I'm fine. Like I'm reading a fantasy book, and so like I already have that expectation coming in. So I feel like just like a little bit of a premise, which I guess this kind of has, but like yeah, I guess this kind of has it a little bit, but like I just want like a little bit more. you know.
Oh, Andrew's back. We can't. We have to stop saying awful things about him now.
Yeah, the last 30 minutes has just been trashing Andrew's tastes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve, what did you think about hard or fast? I was at hard or fast. Soft or whatever. You know the question. Go for it, Steve.
Another question. I prefer soft, just because I think when it's done subtly, it's more effective. When it's too, it can get a little overwhelming. But I think the soft magic systems I prefer for the most part. But like you mentioned, John, it depends on this type of story you want to develop and the kind of story you want to tell. So there, I can see both, but preferably I'll take soft.
Like who here has read Mistborn?
I have.
Yeah, I've read Mistborn. Yeah, like I keep hearing so many wonderful things about the magic system, and it's a hard magic system, right?
Yeah. It's a very hard and that's like a really good point of what I was talking about earlier, is where that story is really centered around having that kind of magic system. There's a lot of the plot element is very intertwined with the magic system, so understanding it and having the twist along with it by the end is really important. It's like if you understand and you're picking up clues when there's stuff that happens at the end, you're like, oh my god, I understand that now because I understand the rules of this like hard magic system. It knows its rules and it knows how to break them effectively.
So yeah, I think this is a good opportunity. I know we're not talking about Mistborn right now, but shout out to Drew. Like he literally bought this for me. Like the full collection. So I'm really, and this is something I never do in my video. I never like show my books. So I'm just like, yay, look, I'm showing my books. I'm a book tuber.
Yeah, if you want a hard magic system, I'm pretty sure you can't go wrong with that one. Stormlight Archives is also a very hard magic system, but it's really long. It's not as easily digestible as like Mistborn. But that's another book where all of its powers and its magic system is tied into the plot and characters and stuff like that. So
yeah, like I actually want to see Corbin. I know the way they're doing this, Corbin is probably going to be like a great magic user at some point.
Good, I want Corbin the wizard.
yeah, like I want Corbin to be able to use magic, but like I don't want them to make it feel. I don't want them to like just like elevate him above like everyone else who has been using magic for so long just because it's Corbin. I want to see like I want to enjoy the process of Corbin becoming more and more competent with magic.
Well, I mean, like I thought I was surprised that like he learned it like halfway through this book and then like didn't really use it again for like a really long time. So I thought he was gonna come out and just like go like hard on that magic, but he didn't.
Well, the one time he used it, he didn't actually use it like conscious. Like he wanted to use it and everything, but like it was a high stress situation, and he was trying to save Heb, like when the giant was like so like I like kind of made sense that he wasn't able to just like pull it out of his ass again. So it kind of reminded me of like Aragon when Aragon first used magic, but like yeah, like I want to see him become more competent with it. I really do. Like, and hopefully he gets like better training, because I don't think Brina is like the best teacher. Hopefully
Don't say mean things about Grandma. She's a nice lady.
no, I love her. I
Leave
love
Grandma
her.
alone.
She's one of the characters that's different enough, like that's different that I like.
I hope he doesn't learn it because he already does. He does everything so
He
well.
does everything
Like,
so well. I know. Like I was not happy with that. I was just like, what, you know? Like if it was God doing that, I would have been like, okay, yes, like because God is a beast with a blade, but like Corbin, like how 3 years? Like those guys have been training their whole lives,
like flies. He was just,
like just like
he was
swatting them
eating
like.
a sandwich and just.
And then Corbin goes, I'm the chosen one, like I got this, man. Hold my beer.
Speaking
Show you
of-
how is yeah.
I'm sorry. Speaking of Brenna, the crow had some pretty funny moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Can someone explain to me the multiple crow thing? Like, why are there multiple talking crows? I think I missed that.
So Neve Narsil, what, no, not Narsil. Narsil is on my Discord. Was the name of the giant queen that was alive for so long?
Is it Nimane or something like that?
Yeah,
Nimane.
something like that. Like she also had a crow, and she was using it to pass information to Uthas, the other giant. But then Uthas was planning to betray her, so like the crow, he tried to kill the crow, but it survived, and Brina found it, and like it was kind of on their.
I think I just missed where the crow initially came from. It's like, okay, there's 2 talking crows now. I mean, I like it, but yeah, I thought the crow was really, really funny. I like the animal companions here are done so well. I love how the horse is just always brought up, and how much Cohen respects Shield, and then I mean, obviously we have so many nice things to say about Storm. But yeah, John, Andrew had a question for you, Yolene.
So that's difficult because I have some that I just don't enjoy, but I think Cohen probably. I really like how badass she is, but the comparison that you did with Arya, she was also one of my favorite characters in A Song of Ice and Fire. So
You have a type.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her, and also her interaction with everyone, and how she just doesn't take. Yeah, she. I don't want to swear, but you know what I want to say,
I
right?
thought you were gonna swear. I was gonna say, "Oh, you lazy."
Yeah.
It's like,
You
all
know,
right.
Did you love the part where I love when they first take over, one of the many places to take over, and Rin is there, and I can't remember the other guy, but Rin and then like her bodyguard, and then like Cohen just disappears, and the guy watching Cohen, he's just like, where is she? And then like he thinks she's gonna be running away, but she's like heading right towards Rin and that guy, and she's like, I'm gonna get you. It's like, I love that part. I was like, Cohen,
the part I loved was when like they're like, oh, she was going for Rin. She was like, no, I was going for you.
Yeah, I like that.
Same question for Steve.
Oh, for POV?
Yeah.
It was Castell from Malice, but that's Silver. So
wow, like
I did like that character. That was
That's painful.
That character was done really well. I really enjoyed that character, and I was so bummed when he died. And I was hoping he was still alive.
Same.
Overall, I think, is it Kywin or Cywin or
Cohen, the girl
Cohen.
with the farm bag.
Yeah.
She's probably my favorite POV now, just because I think she's the most interesting. Even though it is Arya Stark 2.0, it's still fun.
Hey. Well, that's 3 for 3. I would also say Cohen's like my favorite. I actually started fan art of hers. I was like so inspired by her.
Oh, nice.
Well, for me, it was I just liked Markin's story. Like even if it was predictable, I liked that twist in the trope, because when Castell died in book 1, Castell was also I was like, okay, this is my guy in this book. This is the one guy that is like is nuanced enough, that okay, I'm like, okay, I want to see where he goes. And then he dies, and I thought Markin died as well, but like Markin survived. And Markin was like, coming back, and I really like Yeah, and the fact that like this guy's last message to him was to go and find the uh the Jiha, like that, I forget his name. It starts with an M as well. See, I mix up this. This is the problem. When I'm reading the book, I'm like, wait, who is that again?
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
just like seriously, I'm going through the gloss before I start Rune. I'm just going through that glossary. I'm just reading every single name and highlighting who I remember from book 2. Like I'm doing my homework, so
Yeah.
I'm dedicated.
There's 5 pages of cast of characters.
Yeah,
Just
it's
5
massive. I
pages.
saw that today. I was like, oh jeez.
But I think Epic. I think you mean Macau. I don't know how
Macau,
you.
yeah,
Oh, there
Macau,
you go.
yeah, yeah. Like like I want like if, when he mixes up with that squad, like I want to see like what I want to see what he adds to the squad. You know, like I feel like yeah, he could make it more interesting. Because he is so it's there's another thing, right? I like something I like about characters, right? Specifically, is when characters have aside from the overarching goal of okay, we're trying to stop the Black Star and all of that. I love when characters have their own personal goals as well. You know, and in this book, it's like everything is so centered around Corbin, and it's like okay, cool. He's the main character, chosen one, everything. But the fact that like Markin is doing his like he's on another thread, you know, like he's like I when he joins the crew, right, I feel like I'm going to enjoy his perspective a lot more because, I feel like he's a good guy, so he's going to be like care about saving the world and all of that. But there's also the Jael factor, like he's still like wants like he's still separate from everything else. He wants to like get his revenge.
I might be in denial, but I don't think we've seen the last of Castel. That's my.
The Last of Castel.
Yeah, I think so. I think in this, if it was a grimdark or horror book, I would say yeah, he's gone. In this book, I think they spent too much time setting that up. That he's not. It's not over for him yet. Maybe I'm just in
You
denial.
see, but that was the one thing that was like kind of like a plot twist, you know, because they were talking about how my guy was killing giants. So I'm like, wow, this guy's gonna be a sick ass warrior, and then they just like stab him. Who is? Oh, is it Wraith? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Who is Wraith again?
Rafe is the bully from book 1, who in the second one is really just a plot.
I really hated that trope of the bully. Like I hated that trope so much. I was just like, fuck man, like oh shit, sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to swear. I apologize.
I'm doing all this problem.
I apologize for real. I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. But like I did not like that trope at all. I didn't like that trope at all. The bully trope, you know, Corbin is like just going about his day. And some guy is just like, oh, I'm going to take your sword because my dad beats me at home. Like, come on.
Johnny Lawrence.
I
He's
know.
the Johnny Lawrence of Dallas.
Yeah. So Andrew, that's your favorite character, eh?
Psych.
Of course.
You know, as an audiobook listener, having the name Reef and Braith was really difficult. There's Rafe, and then I think it's like Braith. Those are 2 characters in the book. So yeah, they sound exactly the same when you're listening to the audiobook. I'm just like, who are we talking about now?
I listened to the audiobook, so how do you pronounce that first name? Is that Alcyon? Okay. And Gar.
I liked Gar. I
think
what Alcyon did though.
Yo, that scene where Gar in book 1, where Gar like just like kills like a bunch of people, I was like, okay, I don't think anyone would beat him in like a fight or anything, if that's what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Jael, or I can't remember, Jael, and then there's the Jahal.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there's so many names that it gets a little much. Too many syllables in these names.
Yeah, I think I benefited from like listening to the audiobooks because like it's like I wasn't suffering from I knew like okay, when they pronounce the character's name, I'm like okay, because in the book they'll say Jaha, and then you don't recommend the audio for any of John Gwen's books, eh?
I think I'm doing myself a disservice by just using the audiobook. I'm trying to read a bit, but I just don't have the time to physically read these. They're taking me way too long, especially this month when I think I read like 8 books. So yeah, I just didn't
Eight.
have the time to
Same, same, same. I read 8 books this month as well. Like, yeah, to sit down, pick up that book, sit down, like, I listened. I listened.
I
yeah.
read all the way.
I read. Yeah.
I wish I did more of both because yeah, it was definitely a disservice. It was I think that's a big part of why I'm like having so much trouble remembering like what kingdom is which and who's fighting who. But I like how you can pronounce the names. But then like you guys who don't know how to pronounce the names, it's like it doesn't really help because a lot of people have read it. So
Hmm.
I wish I had
Nah,
time to physically read it.
Andrews got me thinking if I'd have enjoyed it better if I read it.
Yeah.
Well, Yolene liked it and she read it, and
And I
Steve
read it,
didn't
but
like
Steve,
it. And
yeah.
he
Steve read it exactly. So like
according to
50-50.
this data, yeah, we still don't have an
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, we still don't have an answer. But I don't know. I feel like if because like so while I was listening to it, I was like washing dishes, I was cleaning the house, I was doing laundry. I feel like if I had to sit down and actually read it like word for word, like yeah, like I might have DNF'd it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like
that's true. I would probably might have DNF'd it because it was taking me too long, or I would just understand everything better and maybe. I mean, like
yeah, it's just
I
either
think
one
I
of
would
those
still
two.
like it the same. I think I would still like it the same, but I would have like digested it easier and just be less frustrated by like the end of it. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's there's something about like audiobooks where like you can kind of listen idly as well. Like you like you because it's like and like if something important happens, then you can just rewind and pay attention. So like it's like yeah, I don't know. I'd have either enjoyed it more or like DNF'd it. Like I second what John said.
I did notice though. I don't know if you guys know. I feel like he has a lot of like Norse mythology. Because you guys probably know that he just like released like Shadow of the Gods, which is like heavily
Hmm.
Norse inspired. But I was looking through some of the glossary and I noticed that there was a group called the like Jotun. Yeah, the Jotun. Who I'm assuming it's like Jolene. It has a Jotun. And I know that's Norse inspired. So kind of interesting to see like his inspiration where he gets a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. Like I'm actually like outside of the Faithful and the Fallen, I'm excited for Shadow of the Gods.
Yeah.
I will read it. Like Shadow of the Gods, like I feel like yeah, like what people are saying from the reviews, like it feels like yeah, I'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy reading that.
I'm going to be negative Nancy here, but I have zero interest in Shadow of the Gods.
Oh,
But like
Zero.
Steve, this was his first book though. This was his first book. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm a bit lenient with like writers like their first stuff. Like I give them like the benefit of the doubt, and
Yeah.
I try and like I try and like I try and like try and focus on their intentions, and if their intentions align with what I what I could possibly like, then I'm like, okay, like I'd like to see what next, and that's why I want to read Ruin and Wrath, because I know like the one common theme people say is that the books progressively get better.
Yeah, and I have to be careful because I had some not so great things to say about the first Poppy War, and I really love the second one. So I'm really careful
Uh,
not to trash the series. I'm not going to say it's hopeless, but there's hope. I might totally change my opinion when we're done with the last
yeah.
book. So I'm trying to be careful, I'm not trying to trash it.
yay,
It may
Steve!
it may all make sense.
I'm really excited now for in like an hour and a half when we talk about
Oh,
it. Then
all right, it's in half an hour.
There are just two. There are just two things. I just want Corbin to struggle like a little bit more, like, and like not the
Yeah,
not
he already
with
lost
like.
his parents. Just make
No,
him
no,
start
no,
there.
exactly. I was about to emphasize on my point. Not like necessarily like he's lost his dad, he's lost his mom. Like, I get that. Okay, but like I lost more, but not that. Yeah, I'm gonna read that song.
We're
I'm
reading it
gonna
now.
read. Yeah, yeah,
Don't read
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna like I haven't started yet, but like I'm gonna blow through it real
I'm
quick.
almost. I have 100, 200 pages left.
How is it so far?
I love it.
You love it, eh? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Then yes, I'm excited now. But what was I even saying?
I'm sorry, I
Um,
interrupted. I
no,
distracted you.
no. I just want I want Corbin, when I say struggle more, like struggle more with like I want him to get his ass kicked properly. Like, I just want him to get his ass kicked, like, and then like that pushes him to become better. Because like I feel like he cannot be as good as he is just like, and maybe with magic, like in term, because there's a thing about like writing competent characters. I think it was this Patrick Rufus's book. Damn it, what's the name?
The name
His
of the
only
wind.
book.
Name of the yeah, the name of the wind. Yeah, like a lot of people had a problem with him because the main character, because everything in terms of competency came too easy for him. Like, he has trauma as well, but like everything in terms of like getting girls, like all the girls like him, and like he's just like so talented that is just like it's just like so talented that is just like, a bit off. I'm kind of getting that vibe a little bit with
Well,
Corbin.
to be fair, not really, because that's, I mean, no offense to Rafe, who's just a plot element, but that's what Rafe did in the first one, is he did ground Corbin, and he bullied him, and he did go through a lot. Like, in Malice, you see him, like, train and get better, and, like, stuff like that. Like, he wasn't really amazing, like, at the beginning. And and I feel like just not him himself, but his family element really helped. He had, like, a really great support system. So it's like, I feel like we already got a lot of that from Corbin and Malice. In my
The
opinion.
problem with that is that I feel like that execution of him not knowing it's like Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man gets bullied in school, discovers his powers, and then just like dodges all the punches, and like it's like like my problem with that execution was that it was too tropey. And like now Corbin is not fighting Wraith anymore. He's fighting like demons and angels, and he's fighting like people that have been fighting way longer than him. Like Wraith was also just like learning as well. Like this, I'm not like I don't know if you know what I don't know if I've explained it well enough, but like that was like on from the start, and that was like he started with that trope. So with the trope, I don't really count that, But like moving forward, like I want people to like show, like, because because there's a thing of like, if you feel like to enjoy Corbin becoming more competent, to enjoy Corbin like executing like sick ass like sword moves and like eventually magic, like he has to struggle with it a little bit, like, and he has to struggle with it on a higher level. Like it's like, okay, we all think Corbin is good right now. Imagine if he now gets his ass kicked, then we're like, oh, he has to improve. So the process of him improving becomes more interesting to read. You know what I don't know if I'm saying what
Yeah.
I'm saying properly.
I get what you're saying.
So like I want him to get his ass kicked, and I want him to yeah, I want him to get his ass kicked. I want to enjoy I want to enjoy his growth more.
Yeah, I can understand that. Something that I also, but I don't know if I'm correct with this, but in the first book, Corbin is 14, right? When he has his name day.
Yeah.
But then in this book, he's 17. So that's 3 years. I didn't really get that.
Wow.
Because
I
when
don't know
the
either.
queen asks, how old are you? He says 17. And that's 3 years have passed, apparently.
It just blew
So-
my mind.
That does mean probably that he had a lot of practice, but you don't really see it. So maybe he swept over those instances, and then you do get the feeling that everything comes easy to him. Because Cohen is 18 already. And in my mind, she was 14 or 15 or something. And then somewhere she says, I'm 18. So yeah, a lot of time has passed, apparently.
Yeah, but like 3 years is still nothing compared to like the Jaha who have been training like their whole lives for that for that fight, and yeah, they were getting swatted by like flies.
Mhm.
You know, but like, yeah, let's see what happens. Like, I'm excited for Ruin.
Me too.
And I won't give any spoilers away, but Yulene, I think you'll get this reference, is that I wanted Corbin to struggle the way some of the characters in this book struggled. I think it's a lot more
I can
powerful.
definitely see that. But Steve, I think as far as fantasy goes, have you read anything that isn't grimdark besides this one? Because I think that most what you read is grimdark, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty new to fantasy, so I haven't read a whole lot of like this type of like traditional fantasy, so it's pretty new to me.
Yeah, because if I remember what else you've read, I can definitely see that this feels like a walk in the park.
Yeah. Yeah. Going from something like Ash and Sand to this was a big change.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, I was reading Prince of Thorns, like King of Thorns, and then I put that on hold to read this one. So the thing is just jarring. It's just like, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yes, Steve. Why did you want to pick up a Blood and Bone if Andrew recommended not to get it?
Oh, I thought he said
joke.
I thought he said I would enjoy it, so I was looking for it, but
No, he said it was a step down.
Oh.
I was just like, Steve, is that sarcasm?
I missed it.
That's the series after this one, also by John Gwynne.
But it's not related, is it?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Because that's more of a question for Andrew.
Well, I was gonna read it, but like,
Are you reading that with us? Are you joining us on the stream, Andrew, for that one?
Andrew, join us. Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
amazing.
Do it.
It's
Do
next
it.
week.
No pressure. Do it. Do it. Reply. Make a commitment right now. Give the
When you
people
get
what they want.
When are you guys doing that one?
I really like it.
July
July 3rd.
July 3rd.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
week.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend this week reading. I'll probably finish it by Wednesday.
Yeah, same.
But like, I feel like I would enjoy it. Like, I really feel like I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
Blood
good
Song
things.
is good, eh? Blood Song is good, eh? Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm just excited to read a Grimdark again. I'm just really excited to read Grimdark. Like,
I'm just glad that everybody likes it because I was saying how good it was, and if everybody would hate it, yeah.
No, I really like it.
I think I'll actually put it on my wish list. Wait, actually, I think it is on my wish list. I definitely won't be able to get it in time and read it. But maybe I'll like gush in hindsight after you guys are done.
Or
I already bought all 3 books. Like, I'm ready to go, man.
yeah, I have all 3, and then I bought the ebooks too, just so I can read when I'm at work and stuff.
Yeah.
But the difference between that, and I don't want to get too far off, but reading something like Valor, when you read it, takes a long. It feels like it takes a long time. With Bloodsong, I fly through 100 pages because it just a lot of things happen. I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's a lot of differences.
Yeah, I like when I'm reading and I completely get lost. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when you're reading and like you look at the time and it's like 8 hours later. Like, you know, when I was back in high school, I used to forget to drink water. I used to forget to eat. I wake up in the morning and I'll go to bed like I want to go to bed and wake up tomorrow morning and pick this book again. And then my mom comes like, "Yo, have you eaten?" I'm like, no. She's like, "Have you even drank water?" No. And then she'll take the book away from me. But yes, I like getting lost in a book like that, you know. And like if I'm reading, like it's just very difficult for me to ignore like tropes, you know, and like it just takes me out of the story.
Well, I just ordered Blood Song, so I'll read it eventually.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Read it, and like, what's your schedule? Like, would you be able to make a July 3rd?
Hell no, not happening.
Hell no.
It's I don't want to say it's an easy read, but it goes quick. So if you grab the ebook, you may make it if you're free this week.
Yeah, probably not. But I've had it on my wish list forever, so yeah. After all that praise, I'm definitely gonna pick it up.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. But I have John and I have 15 minutes before the Dragon Republic.
I thought it was I thought it was in an hour and 15 minutes.
It's at 4 o'clock Eastern, so
Oh, is it?
yeah, 3 o'clock your time.
I have it like pulled up. Okay. Yeah, Liz is gonna be like, "Where the hell are all y'all?" All right, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go and wrap it up here. It says 4. All right, if it's 4 Eastern, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, 4 Eastern is 3. You're Central, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have another discussion in a couple minutes. Well, actually in 2 hours, but yeah.
What? That's what? I have a discussion like a couple minutes. Well, more like a couple hours, but same thing.
I thought it's by 3. I'm having I don't know if you guys have read like War of the Fallows. It's by we're interviewing the author.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
For John and Andrew, we are reading the trilogy, the Raven Shadow trilogy. So all the dates are already set up. So if you can't make Bloodsong, if you can make the other ones, feel free to join us for those. We have all the dates set up. So.
I have I'm doing I'm going to stream the third book right in September.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be
a good one.
Yeah, I can't wait to be honest. It's Bloodsong. I've been so excited for it.
You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. If Steve says it, then 100%.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy it.
I find we actually have very similar tastes. When I watch your reviews, especially your reviews where you're not being also positive about a book, and I've read the book as well. I'm like, okay, he said it. There are some books I've read, I just don't want to review it because I didn't like it. I don't want to spend the time, because with each book review, I go into animation and I try and make it, so I have to like it to do it.
Yeah, it's tough.
So before we go, does everybody want to do their final rating?
Yeah, I think that's. I usually don't give ratings. Everybody knows this because I will now say too high number, and then after a month I will put it down a little bit. But at this point, I think 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was great for me, and this is purely subjective because I can see some of the negatives, and if I try to look at it objectively, I think I would go towards a 3.5, but purely my enjoyment, 4.
I would say 3 because it was well put together, and it was put together well enough, and he was trying to be very ambitious with the book, and for a first writer, all those variables considered, I'll give it a 3 over 5.
I also gave it a 3.5. I did a 3.5. It's about how much. I think if Yolene, if I still enjoyed it overall, my experience, I'd probably say a 4, but I just couldn't. So yeah, 3 or 3.5.
Yeah, and I love Steve is smiling. Let's hear this. Okay.
Yeah, I already saw the Goodreads one, so I already know what's coming.
2 stars for me.
Womp womp.
But I have hope, and again, the rest of the series may come together and make sense. So I'm being open-minded. I'm hopeful. So see how it works out.
Okay. So,
time,
thanks
guys.
everybody for joining us and making the time to come and talk about the book. I know that I'm the only one who absolutely loved it, but still.
Hey, Epic, you have to tell us what your partner's YouTube channel is so we can go support her.
Her channel is what's your channel? Arena Arena Stretzer? Yeah, Arena Stretzer. She does she has a business, and she just does lifestyle kind of thing. So she's dropping a video real soon. I watched her while she was editing. It's pretty cool, and she's the one that taught me how to edit. So she's really good. Yeah,
awesome. Give us the link in Discord or somewhere, and we'll go support her.
I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you so much. So Steve, when are we doing the Sherlock Holmes thing again with Stacey?
Which one?
Sherlock Holmes, season 3.
Oh, I forget it's on the calendar. I think it's the 11th.
11th? Okay, got it. I'll watch it.
Double check.
It's just 3 episodes, I think. So it's very possible. Yeah.
Let me see. It's on the. I'm sorry, it's on the 3rd.
On the 3rd,
next week.
So on the same day with the Bloodsong.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do it. I should be able to make that as well.
Well, bye, everybody.
Yeah, thanks Yelene for hosting.
Bye.
Good
Thank
luck with book
you.
Thanks
3.
for
Hope
joining
everyone
us.
enjoys it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, John, you're gonna read book 3 as well. You're gonna be part of that discussion, right?
Yeah, I'm part of the whole thing. I'll be there.
Yeah. Nice.
We're
nice.
invested.
Nice.
Good luck, everybody. See you then.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.